Hello, my name is Clayton Phelps, and I'm going to be presenting information about the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, today during this presentation. My name is Clayton Phelps. It's been a pleasure to have you in class, and today I'm going to be talking about some of these few topics. Has the coronavirus affected highly dense population areas more than others? What countries have actually been able to flatten the curve? And what PPE is being used to mitigate the spread of the virus? So let's get started. So first, I wanted to look at a map of the United States. The United States has the highest number of cases right now, and doesn't seem as though any country is going to be able to compete with that, so to speak. Um, and I think it's very important to look at some of these numbers in detail. So if we look at total cases, you can see that the United States has been covered throughout the entire area. There are some states such as North and South Dakota that have not as many cases, and same in this region right in here around where the four corners touch. But generally, you can see that if you zoom in, there are very large amount of cases that go along with highly populated areas such as New York or Florida in this case. You can see that in New Jersey here, there is a confirmed 15,610, whereas if you go up here to Maine, there's only, in this county of Aroostook, only 5 confirmed cases and no deaths. So the correlation between confirmed cases and the population density go hand in hand. As you can see, here's Orange County in New York, and it's approximately 8,650. Now these numbers were updated in April 30th, but they've just continued to grow, and you can see a little better in this graphic that the number of deaths that coincide with the number of cases are fairly high in these very dense population areas. As we go down a little bit further to Florida, you can see that the numbers are still high, but it's more than you see in these regions here. So for certain states that have put a lot of pressure on for certain states that have governments that have put a lot of pressure on business owners to enforce lockdown procedures and companies as well, you can see that the deaths have been slowly dwindling out. For example, in Kentucky, there aren't as many deaths in certain areas as there are in Florida, where Florida has not implemented many mitigation methods or lockdown procedures to ensure the spread doesn't continue. Also, if we go a little further, we can look at the which countries have actually flattened the curve. So the United States has enforced certain lockdown procedures, but as many people know, the United States doesn't tend to always follow what people tend to do what they want, so to speak. And we can look at this information by comparing, for example, the United States in total cases at this point of April 30th has reached 1,069,000, whereas a company like Germany, which has implemented several lockdown procedures and is very strict on enforcing those, has only 163,000. And this is due to several factors. One, being the population of the country, and two, like I had mentioned, um, the lockdown procedures. So when we look at actually flattening the curve, I think it's important to look at the information of the background information of the country itself. So, for example, as we had talked about in new cases, we can look at overall, in the beginning, it was only China that had confirmed cases, but towards this is over time, but as of right now, confirmed cases, or for confirmed new cases, it was at 86,942. So this is back in February, whenever the coronavirus was just kind of mentioned, and China had started to have small outbreaks, but it wasn't considered to be going across the globe. And in this area here, you can see in April and starting in March that the number of new cases had just skyrocketed. So as the spread continues, there wasn't a lot to flatten the curve in this instance, but you can see certain countries, such we can go back and look at Germany. The number of cases has dwindled tremendously. Same case for Italy. The number of cases has just started to dwindle, but this is different for the United States, as we have a large population and there are so many different approaches to how people have decided to handle the spread of the disease. You can see that it has made a big impact on the new cases that come along. And one of the third topics that I wanted to highlight on was the personal protective equipment. So this is a dashboard of code-safe system status, and this just goes into some of the supply needs that is needed for the hospital. So you can see that there's mask with face shield, N95 masks, N95 small masks, ductile shield, and then ventilators that are available or in use. And this has really forced our country to adapt to a very fluid situation, as certain companies have been deemed non-essential. You've seen, or there's been several of them that have adapted to this and have begun to develop products that are essential. For example, the automotive industry is not as lucrative right now and in high demand. So companies such as General Motors have decided to make ventilators and learned how to create these using several methods that are approved by the CDC and other testing facilities and regulations. But what company that generally makes vehicles has been able to make ventilators for hospitals. There is a company that has generally made baseball jerseys that have now been able to make masks out of the same material. So this plays a significant role into fighting the spread of this disease and ensuring the safety of the public. But these are some of the topics that I've researched, and this is some of the information that I've found to be very useful and beneficial. Thank you for your time. It was good having you in class.